What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog, back in Historic with some best of one zombie action. So today we're going to be revisiting kind of a card that I built around before. So it's a pretty similar list to what I've done. It's a couple minor updates, so I want to give it another go because it is super sweet. So Liliana's Elite was a nice card we got from Jumpstart. 3 mana, 1/1. Not super impressive, however, it gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. And of course, it's a zombie. I mean, Liliana's Elite. It's got to be a zombie, right? So we're trying to self-mill, get a bunch of creatures in our graveyard, take advantage of that, make our Liliana's Elite super huge, and hopefully kind of close out the game with some big old swinging elites. The way we're going to get there is we have some removal, obviously, here in Bloodchief Thirst. We don't have too many ways to actually trigger Revolt for Fatal Push, although Fatal Push is still a pretty solid card. You know, Llanowar Elves and a lot of the cheap, efficient creatures are still pretty impactful and historic. But Bloodchief Thirst is a little more versatile, so we're going to try that one out here instead. 3 copies, doing the same split with the Thoughtseize. I think that feels pretty reasonable. Thoughtseizes just seems like it's an absolute must. There's so many crazy decks. Combo, this hits everything, so 3 copies of Thoughtseizes. Don't want to make too many. Obviously, it's a terrible top deck, so I think 3 is probably a pretty good amount. Cryptbreaker here, since we're a little bit more combo-ish with our Elite and things like that, so do get into a Void Stall, we can just kind of draw some cards. We can also discard cards, which of course potentially fuels our Elite if it happens to be a creature card, and make a 2/2 zombie at the same time, so that's pretty sweet. Cool. Malakir Rebirth as a way to keep our Elite alive, or just have it come down as a black mana source. Stitcher Supplier, we're going to mill ourselves 3 cards when it enters the battlefield and when it dies, as just a 1/1 zombie. 4 copies of Graveyard Marshal is an alternative way to take advantage of creature cards in our graveyard by exiling them to make 2/2 zombie tokens. So if we don't find our Elite, or if opponent just keeps killing it, then we have a Graveyard Marshal to potentially make zombies with all of our creatures in the graveyard. Mire Triton is going to most couple cards, gain us life, and it's a 2/1 zombie with Death Touch. Lord of the Accursed can give our Elite menace, along with all of our other zombies, of course. It is a zombie, 3 mana, 2/3. Other zombies get +1/+1. We can pay 2, tap it, and give our zombies a menace until end of turn. And with all this stuff in the graveyard, we also have Liliana, Untouched by Death, where she can get creatures back with her -3. You can also -2 to have a creature get -X until end of turn, where X is equal to the number of zombies we control. Playing a good amount, so that should be pretty reasonable value. And of course, +1 to mill 3 cards, another way to fill up our graveyard. So fantastic options abound, especially with this Liliana as well. Waker of the Dead. Each player discards a card, so again, we don't mind having stuff in our graveyard to fuel our Elite. And most importantly here, this -3 is going to be pretty impactful as -X to a target creature equal to the number of cards in our graveyard. So it doesn't care about creatures or whatever type of cards they are, just any cards in our graveyard, which there's going to be a lot. Obviously, a Stitcher Supplier, Mire Triton, etc. is going to be filling up our yard. And finally, just 1 copy here of Death's Majesty. We're trying to keep the curve a little bit lower, but still want to make room for something like Death's Majesty, because she's just a super sweet card. So 5 mana, 5 loyalty. +1 to make a 2/2 zombie, mill 2 cards, so synergizes what we're trying to do. We can -3 to get any creature card back from our graveyard to the battlefield. So again, if our opponent has killed our Liliana's Elite, maybe they had some Death Touch, maybe just removal, whatever the case may be, -3, we can just boom, get it back the same turn we play our Liliana, and just keep growing our Elites after that. So we can be a little bit of a grindier, slower deck, so I think a couple Castle Locthwain seems appropriate. And then the 20 Swamps, trying to keep the lands low to kind of fit our lower curve, because we also do have the Malakir Rebirth. So that's the deck, just straight up best of 1, then we'll do some games. We're up against Fëanor Noldorin. It seems reasonable. No Elite. So maybe we just go with Cryptbreaker here for now. See what we draw into. If we had Elite in hand, definitely would fire out the Supplier right away, but we'll wait and see what we draw first. Probably go for the Marshal here just to be mana efficient. And might as well attack for 1, because we got nothing else going on with this Cryptbreaker. And they got nothing on board, just a island. Is it? Ooh. Goblin Electromancer. So we got Liliana, Waker of the Dead coming down next turn, so I think I'm... Or are we? Yeah, I mean, this is probably like a Arclight Phoenix style deck. If they want to make that trade, that's fine, I think. Second is a removal spell. Okay. So next turn we have Liliana potentially. Let's see what our opponent does though. Tap 3 on top zombies to draw. They have a million cards in hand. Probably some pretty efficient removal. I think I want to just get in there. Try to. Brineborn Cutthroat. They have something else to pump it up. And they have the opt. Well, we did get them to commit. So I think we'll Liliana and minus the Cutthroat. Not what I was expecting with Electromancer. That's interesting. I mean, the whole point of flashing Cutthroats is to have cheap spells like Opt to follow it up with, and Goblin Electromancer, like, what does that do for you? Not a whole lot. If all your spells are already 1 mana anyway, you don't really get a discount.
You wish you had a fraction of my power.
That was a cute play, opponent. What else you got? So we got the. We know they got some flashy stuff, so we'll have to kind of play around that a little bit more. Yeah, final playing our hand out. They do have the flashies, it appears. Another Cutthroat, perhaps. Fine with attacking. Another Cutthroat, and one more spell to back it up with. I mean, if you want to trade in their Graveyard Marshal, I'm fine with that. That doesn't matter. I don't think. I mean, potentially we do have some reanimation, so maybe. We're empty-handed, and they have plenty of cards in hand. 1 mana open, not playing anything.
You think too much.
Frantic inventory, probably they want that in the graveyard anyway, especially if they have another one in hand. And they do, just firing it off right now. That's kind of interesting. It's instant speed. Not sure why you wouldn't hold that up there. You already played a land for turn, so you're not looking for lands. Alright, we're gonna swing here. I'm gonna flash something in again. Thrill of possibility. Well, we'll discard a Bloodchief first. Don't really want to, but... Niv Mizzet. Now, the Cutthroat just seems really cute. So what are you trying to do here? Electromancer makes sense if you're trying to run like Niv and Mizzet stuff, but if all your spells are super cheap anyway, like what's the point? Well, you're gonna discard. We're at 20 life. Got the Castle Locthwain online. Cool. Gonna make you discard 2 cards. You have a counterspell? Oh no, we have to discard our Liliana to our trigger. Forgot. Wasn't paying attention. They did that on the stack. I can flash in their Borrower here, which cannot block. Actually, we should have drawn with Castle Locthwain. If I was paying more attention there with on the stack, we could have drawn and then could have discarded whatever we drew if we want to keep our Liliana. But opponent's down to 2, so it doesn't matter too much. I mean, we're not doing damage to them, I don't think. And then they're just dead. Liliana Untouched. Fire it off because we can.
There to meet my backup. Don't get squeamish on me.
Boom! Oh yeah, I got the Liliana win. Ooh, love it. Alright, against Jambi. And we're getting these perfect land situation. Cryptbreaker into Graveyard into Lord of the Accursed. No elite, but you know, power of zombies still pretty solid. Let's see what they got. Nothing. Alright, Graveyard Marshal. You know, if we miss a land, we have you know, Lord of the Accursed into Lord of the Accursed. Looks like it's just Orzhov life gain. Oh, if they shatter our skies, we'll just move on. No point in playing this out here in best of one unranked if you're just gonna be shattering skies and Sanctum gaining life. Esper. That's super cool. And they concede. What were we swinging for there? I was probably going to go for the Liliana just to be a little more mana efficient. And kind of get her taken, especially if this is like some kind of a control build. Esper with Sanctum. Is that just a straight up shrine build? Or maybe a Esper shrines? Not really sure. I haven't really know. Typically you see Sanctum as kind of a throw-in in like the life gain decks, but I don't know about Esper. Maybe it was the Esper life gain. I don't know. I guess they didn't have a good enough hand to stick around. Alright, against Shaky 666. This is interesting. Boros. I think we Stitcher's Supplier and then kind of figured out what we want to do next turn. I mean, if they're more aggro-less, we can kind of hang on to the Thoughtseize to maybe get a Ember Cleave or maybe some removal out of their hand. Okay, it's Mardu, never mind. So play Cryptbreaker and Thoughtseize. Oh, nice. Shallai is annoying, but we're pretty light on removal, honestly. I think Seraph is probably the one that I don't want to deal with. So we gotta get the ball rolling. We do have a Death Touch, and we got some card draw. Wow, opponent overestimated us. I mean, they have a third land in hand. Just drop Shallai. Well, we can target Shallai with removal, just can't target anything else. So if they don't have a turn 3 play, what's her name? Kalia. There we go. Assuming they're even running her. I mean, it's like it's just Angel, Mardu Angels. Then yeah, I mean, Kalia gives you a 3/3, but if you don't have that, then you just play a land, and then you just need a 4th land, and then you drop, you know, even Seraph would be fine if we have removal because you have a couple 1/1s behind. I mean, we're staggering with 1/1s. You're not that far behind. I don't know why they conceded that early. But yeah, it's a pretty top-heavy hand from them. I don't know. I haven't really looked at Angels or Kalia or any of that stuff for a little while. Slowly working our way back into Historic. So, pretty premature concede there. Up against Mick Shavius. Yeah, I think I want to Thoughtseize here, and then we got a couple 2-drops to follow it up with. And if we miss lands, we'll go and drop our Malakir as our 3rd land. That seems fine. Alright, Fu, what do you got? This doesn't matter. 3 hasty goblins. You got it. Got those sweet Bob Ross lands. We'll go with the Graveyard Marshal. If they just have 1/1s, then the 3/2 is going to be a little bit better. We could guarantee Liliana and Malakir Rebirth. Seems fine, but we're up against a red deck, so they probably have Shocks, etc. And Cryptbreaker is pretty cool as well. I think I like that better. We're gonna Cryptbreaker. And Mire Triton, if they have any removal or any shenanigans, we will activate the Cryptbreaker to tap 3. Alright, getting a little bit of life right now. There's a couple lands. But we will wait and see if they have attacks or removal. Yeah, no reason for us to block these 1/1s. They do get to get in, but that's fine. I think worth drawing a card here. That is the land. Well, we got Liliana coming up. I guess we could minus on a 1/1 token, but it doesn't seem great. Put her at 1. Stitcher's Supplier seems fine. Does give us more card draw in the form of another zombie. I can also turn this Malakir into a zombie. Okay. We'll definitely trade off here if you want to get your bombardment off. Which they do. Alright, we'll draw a card. Take out 2 of your dudes. We lose 2, but that's fine. We can also Rebirth as well. Why not? They don't seem to have a way to deal with our Cryptbreaker at the moment, so we'll take 2, but then we'll just gain it right back with the Mire Triton ETB. And we just need 1 more zombie off the top. No. I mean, if you're just running a bunch of 1/1s, then I guess don't really care about Bloodchief's Thirst. We'll get rid of your last card. And we'll attack. Gonna put some counter pressure on them. A land, that's fortunate. Could have discarded that to make another 2/2 as well. Might have been better. If we do find our Liliana mills, that'd be pretty good. I think we'll discard. We're hitting you for 3, making a 2/2. Yeah, Cryptbreaker's pretty good. What's in your hand? A mountain, just so you don't have to lose life. Do you want to draw here? No. I'm gonna keep their life total nice and low. I think we're winning the race. Trash Master. Wait. We -7 and get a creature back. Let's do that. Discard a land. I don't think we want a 1/1. So we have a Lord of the Accursed, man. That seems pretty sweet. They block 1, they still take 5. Have I ever -7 on Liliana? I don't think I have. Usually I either win the game or your opponent has a way to deal with it. So I forgot that Lord had haste. Otherwise, yeah, we could have chosen like a Graveyard Marshal just to push across more damage if... yeah, so I have to keep that in mind for future consideration. But yeah, up against the mono-red bombardment deck. Goblin bombardment, I guess. Alright, up against Drain. I was just going to say, I don't think we've seen Liliana's Elite in all these games so far. Watch us be stuck on 2 lands. Oh, we milled 2. Yep. We're not even going to cast our Liliana's Elite because we milled 2 lands. And we got the 5 mana Liliana here as well, but we found a 3rd land, so we're fine. Alright, so crazy how you can build a deck, all 4 copies, and yet you just never find it. Not super impressive as a 2/2, but Well, we'll get there. And Untouched by Death is fantastic. Another way for us to fill up our yard. Honestly, we just need lands and we'll be fine. And if they kill this elite, we just get another one. Leapfrog? Have I ever seen anybody play that card? Let's play it safe. They can get flying and maybe do some stuff to our Liliana. So we'll say no. I mean, they could still have a shock to deal with her or some kind of direct damage type effect as well. But we just get the creature off the board, so make them find something else. Heraldic Banner, choosing your 2 colors. What do you got? Blue. Okay, so you have a bunch of blue creatures. Yeah, I want the elite online. We're gonna plus here. Liliana Untouched by Death. Showing everyone just how good you are. Bone it down to 8. Get these elites up to 4/4s. What do you got? So if we do find an untapped land, we have some pretty sweet options. We can Liliana 5, or we can Marshal plus Lord. But putting it down to 8, probably just need to fill up the yard. So probably go for Liliana. Yeah, plenty of cards in hand. You gotta have something. But finally getting the elites online. I was like, gotta find that card. What was like our what 5th game, 6th game? You're finally seeing it, and we got 2 of them, so that's pretty sweet. And it's putting in work here. But yeah, an 80 card Urian deck can just find like Shatters and Teferis whenever they want, but we can't find our build arounds in a 60 card deck. That's Shuffler, man. Opponent disconnected, or they just have a crappy hand and feeling frustrated. It's not my fault. Just concede if you don't have a way out. You're just gonna sit there and punish your opponent because you have a crappy hand or something. Doesn't seem right. Okay, they finally do something here. Yeah, we're gonna Mire Triton. Get that yard nice and swole.
Wait till you see what I've got drawn for you.
And nothing from the opponent. Okay, Liliana's elites putting in work. Finally. Yeah, beautiful synergy there in that game. Got the Stitcher, Supplier, Mire Triton, Liliana Untouched by Death. This is a card that hasn't gotten a whole lot of love since she was printed, but I definitely find its use for it here and there. You definitely doesn't automatically go into any zombie deck, but like we're trying to do here, I mean, fits in beautifully. We'll say that. We'll wrap it up there. Finally got the elites in. Even without the elites, this deck does pretty well. Zombies are pretty sweet tribe. I don't know what I was going for. It has some nice synergy. There we go. So a little bit slow to come around to Historic. The competitive scene does not interest me at all in Historic right now, but might give it a try. We'll see. But for now, just the best of one. Seems like it's been pretty reasonable. Certainly better than previous best of one Historic format. And eventually, hopefully, we'll get a casual best of 3 Historic. That would be amazing. And I'll have to face off against all this degenerate nonsense. But yeah, we get a definitely expect some more zombie content to come. Definitely want to be kind of the go-to source for zombie decks, in particular, in addition to just kind of general janky deck ideas. So if you guys have any suggestions, absolutely throw them my way. We still have a long ways to go before the next set releases here in mid-January. I do have at least one other zombie deck that's kind of queued up and ready to go, and definitely could come up with some more. There's definitely a lot of different ways you kind of go with zombies, which is pretty sweet. This is a card that I saw in Jumpstart and looked kind of interesting, and I've kind of looking for ways to use it and kind of put together something last season, if you will. And just a super sweet card that it doesn't seem like anybody has really been playing around or really doing much with, but It's really it's been having fun with it. Definitely the Lord of the Curse better than Death Baron, I think. Just potentially giving this menace could be pretty important because we don't really have like trample or any other way to or flying, to give this some evasion. You could maybe try to throw in some demonic embraces. I'm not really sure what you would take out because you need obviously ways to fill up your yard. The Liliana Planeswalker package is pretty important. So I definitely like the numbers here with a 3-to-1 ratio here. They'll serve their purpose. And yeah, I don't think we'd want to trim any of those necessarily, but you might not have these in your collection, so that could certainly be an option. I mean, we're talking about a mythic for a card that only goes into particular decks. Waker is 2 copies, so it shouldn't be too hard to manage. I mean, she's pretty sweet. And Death's Majesty is an awesome card as well, so 1 copy as well. All mythics, though, a little bit unfortunate. The Elite, though, of course, is an uncommon, which is nice. And there's a couple other rares in here, but Cryptbreaker is a must-have. Thoughtseize is a must-have. The Graveyard Marshal. If you're a little bit newer, you may not have much of these, but if you're into the Zombie Tribal, it's definitely a card you want to have in your collection because it's just very powerful. 2-mana 3/2 that makes 2/2 zombie tokens. It's pretty sweet. 3 mana is a little bit expensive, but so it doesn't. Your opponent's going to look at this and it's definitely going to be a target for removal. And especially when you're actually prioritizing the Elite over something like a Graveyard Marshal, then that actually works out in your favor. Even Lord of the Accursed, if they kill that, we just want our Elite to live, and we're trying to, just kind of do crazy stuff with that. And even though we're a little bit light on removal, which is the 3 Bloodchief Thirst, I mean, we've got obviously Death Touch with Mire Triton. We also have these Lilianas that also feature removal on them as well. Not so much this one, obviously, but Waker of the Dead with her -3 and -2 here with Untouched by Death. If we're not going super wide, I mean, a lot of times you just need 2-3 zombies out to kind of deal with something on your opponent's side. Even just kind of a deterrent, maybe sometimes if it's a bigger creature for them not to block, because then they'll lose their creature if you give it -X enough, before combat, and then you attack with everything, kind of like that. So, yeah, zombies, super sweet. Liliana's Elite, very fun card. So, and also get to play around 3 different Lilianas. Definitely love that. Super fun. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, make sure you jank with purpose.